2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Brookman. It's been 2,475 days since they've taken a playoff spot. Throw to first in time. The drought is over. A tidal wave is coming in. The West Michigan Whitecaps are first half Eastern Division champions.
All right, I can't bring myself to play that song right now because the Tigers just got shut out by the Pirates 3-0. As we go to the broadcast, yeah, womp womp womp. Stunning. They come off a big win yesterday in Texas, and Enos goes and pitches solid relief, and you get the Pirates.
Yeah. I mean, no surprise that you're not going to do a whole lot against Skeens, but I mean, right. They didn't even really do anything in the bullpen. They knocked him out relatively early. They pulled him on 86 pitches or something, and still can't take it. A little bleak for the offense the past 10 games, although I'm trying to keep a cool head about it because that's essentially one football game where your offense sucked, but not looking great.
I think we're kind of seeing the flip side of, all the players who were off to such crazy hot starts this year, and we were like, oh, this can't last. And yep, we're right. It can't last.
Yeah.
Javi Baez isn't this guy. Zach McKinstry isn't this guy. Torkelson isn't really this guy. And when Riley Green is struggling the way he is right now, he's turned into Adam Dunn. There's no offense and you still see some good plate appearances, right? Cole Keith had that 12 pitch at bat, in a strikeout, unfortunately, but. And Torres is doing things. It's just one of those ups and downs we see in the season where, sometimes the offense just disappears. I looked at it like, in the Rangers series, and the Rangers offense hasn't been humming this year either. And it kind of sucks that the Tigers scored, 2 runs in 3 games?
Yeah.
But they gave up 7 runs in 3 games. It's like, well, that's still pretty good. They're still doing something right. And 3 runs against the Pirates, who suck too. That's not bad. It's just, it's like I've said before, like watching a team that doesn't score is the worst. It's worse to me than a team that can't pitch.
Yeah, I mean, the offense didn't come through against the Pirates at all, or against the Rangers either. And Cormar Rockers out of the 3 is pretty good. Patrick Corbin is a shell of his former self. And Jacob Blatz, I mean, he's a guy who comes out of the bullpen, right? He's a bullpen pitcher. So, I don't know. That was a really demoralizing series. But there's plenty to get to. Also, Riley Green, by the way, is on pace for Evan Petzel tweeted this out. On pace for 212 strikeouts, which would be the most in Tiger season history.
Mm-hmm. By about 22, I would think.
Yeah.
So
Cecil Fielder has the record of 182 back in 1990.
Oh, so by 30.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's very strange because you see he's unlocked this power swing more this year. But there's just so much swing and miss that it's just kind of crazy. He's not this bad of a hitter. We know that. So I don't know if he's going to – we also know that he goes through these kinds of slumps and gets out of them and then is the hottest hitter on the planet for 3 weeks. So it's just a matter of, does that happen next week, in the middle of August? Does it wait until September? If he's going to wait that long, might as well wait till October. But, it's tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's kind of hitting like Eugenio Suarez, who a lot of talk is about right now. Same thing. Eugenio Suarez is hitting 50% fly balls now, or more than that. I think it's 53%. His launch angle is 5% or 5 degrees higher than his average. And it's working for him, but he's still striking out a lot. But this year, he's hitting for average, where we've seen those crazy Suarez seasons where, he hits 33 home runs, but he's worth 2 WAR because his OBP is 290, I don't know. There's always a point where maybe the guy has gone a little too far in terms of launch angle menace, and maybe Riley has reached that point a little bit, but it's just hard to know because, like you said, next week he might just go on an absolute heater again, and we'll be all feeling great about it. Oh my God, he's going to hit 50.
Yeah, and it could be the case there too. I don't know. I'm not really. It's everybody else. I just talked about this. The keys to the second half is guys like Parker Meadows and Matt Verling stepping up. And he had Matt Verling single last night was very therapeutic, especially because of what happened Saturday. So There'll be so coming up at 9:45 ish. We'll have Emily Walden chiming in with what she saw West Michigan Toledo for a segment, and we'll also be. I did want to. There's a lot of ways to start the show. First and foremost, we could talk about what we saw in Erie, the Moon Mammoth weekend, the Star Wars weekend, but Saturday was one of the busiest crowds I've ever seen in my life. It was the line was wrapped almost 2 blocks, right, Chris? In terms of just like getting to the ballpark.
Yeah, the line to get in the ballpark was incredibly long, and people started lining up at 7 a.m. It sounded like.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. When we got there, we got the ballpark pretty early there too.
They were
Yeah,
hunting the giveaways.
we got there before noon, and the line to get into the store stretched from. If you've been to that ballpark, you know that the store is basically along the left field line, almost to the outfield wall. And the line went from there all the way to home plate. And it ended up at one point, I think Christy said that it was like serpentine. They had to like go back and forth. So
Yeah,
tons of enthusiasm. It was a really, really fun experience. Everything there, they do it all out. It was awesome. The whole ballpark was transformed. And the only unfortunate thing was that the team played a little sloppy and ended up losing.
yeah. But shout out to the entire staff, Christy, Greg
Yeah.
Coleman, the entire staff did a fantastic job of turning things around in such a short period of time. And I also was able to see how the whole kind of what the sausage was made. Essentially, they had literally 10,000 orders. They had it was like an assembly line, so you had to like put your shirt in there, and like it was just a crazy amount of orders, and they're out of the adjustable hats. It was insanity, and some people, from my understanding, people look pretty patient, but it was when John Oliver was the bat boy, he was threw the first pitch. They had him do everything, and definitely we'll be back there in August for sure. I just don't like right now. We have to head up to Toledo a couple times. I've not been to Toledo in a while, and West Michigan too at some point, but. Yeah, it was really well done. It was really well done. All considering that they had to do this in what 3 weeks, essentially.
That's. I mean, you talked about like Christy was running the basically the purchasing the store in all the orders they had. It's just absolutely insane to the point where Raj was helping fulfill orders. Big thanks to Greg Gagna who couldn't be there. Unfortunately, he was calling the Tigers game, which is I don't think he was hated it too bad because they put him up in like a resort. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a bummer to go there and miss one of our buddies. And but he let us use his office, which was awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I was just in there looking at my computer doing the things, and Raj disappeared. And I look over, and he's filling boxes and fulfilling orders. And then like an hour later, he's helping usher the media up to the 4th floor, the staging area, before John Oliver came and moved down to the 2nd floor. And that was cool, just to be there for the John Oliver press conference. Raj got to ask a question, and he's for a comedian, he's as funny in real life as you would expect. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, right now, and the thing that I really learned about too is the biggest takeaway about running was somebody from the baseball offices. I was asked, they were like, well, why are you doing this? Well, I felt bad just showing up and just going, hey, I'm just gonna roast, like we're media, and I understand it, but at the same time, like I felt bad. I wanted to help out because everybody's running around with their head cut off and. I don't know. It was just cool. I've always wanted to work for a baseball team. I applied for the Mud Hens 4 years in a row when I was in college. Never got a call. Nothing. And so I've always wanted. It was kind of like fulfilling a kind of a strange thing because I've always wanted to either do marketing or something. And so it was just the best opportunity to do so. So it was cool to do. I mean,
well,
it was
one of the biggest nights in the franchise history, and like this huge coup for the franchise, and everything goes great. And you guys are both like kind of insiders there. You know everybody. You're trusted. It's pretty cool to be able to kind of be there for that, and kind of be inside a little more than just like a regular media member. So yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I got to thank everybody. Like you said, you thank Greg Coleman, the GM there. But also big thanks to Sam, who had me on the broadcast, and thanks to Raj for letting me go on the broadcast because he's been on the broadcast before, and so he said I should go, and that was on a pretty big night for them. It was like the national free game of the day or whatever, and so they had me on, and I got to do half an inning, and that was fun. It was just a really awesome experience, like we said, and we had planned on going here anyway because we had circled this weekend as the date where they were probably going to call the guys up, call the big three up. And, they called them up a week before that, which is not a big deal. This was their first home series. And so we got to see them. And we got there early on Friday. So they were doing like a media availability for those guys. And so we got to talk to all three of them too. And that was very cool.
Yeah, Max Clark it was funny because he called, like, I didn't catch this, but he said, hey, Raj. And nobody, unless you know me, you call me Raj. No one, Lambert just, he's like, hey, Raj. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. We've never talked to Max Clark before. We tried to get interviews a couple of years ago, but he was leaving for Lakeland early, and he was getting his wisdom teeth out and stuff like that. It didn't work out. But yeah, we've never talked to him. We talked to McGonigal before. We never talked to Briseño before, I don't think.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of like what you would expect from those three guys. Like McGonigal is cordial and enjoyable to talk to, but it seems like he's more about his business, right? Like I asked him if he was upset that Clark got the first home run out of the three. He was like, "Oh no, I was happy for him." I'm like, "Come on." And then Briseño,
fun with it.
Yeah. But he was great. He answered all our questions, and he told us some really cool stories and very funny stories about.
Really?
And Clark had a lot of funny stories too about all those guys going to the Futures game, and there were travel issues. But Briseño came out. It's a 20-year-old kid from Venezuela, and he came out and did his interview in English, and it was, understandably, he didn't catch everything, but for him to be willing and able to do that was pretty impressive. Yeah. And then Raj was able to ask him a couple questions in Spanish, and he really opened up there, and that was cool.
Oh yeah.
And Max just an incredible, polished, gregarious, enjoyable kid to talk to. Like we talked about the standard stuff. We talked about baseball, and then we turned off the cameras and talked about baseball for like 5-6 more minutes. It was really fun.
Nice. Max Clark seems like one of the most put together, 20-year-olds I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Until
Chris, did he say you like these homers? Did he give you
No, he could have. He could have been like, he could have had some. I don't know if he had
power for you. How about that?
I don't know if he knows, but he's also just an incredibly huge baseball fan. Like you can just tell he lives, eats, breathes, sleeps baseball.
We were talking about Lansing we were talking about Lansing there for a minute because he was like, we're asked the one thing that that blew me away we were talking about was why they put the left field wall that they did in LMCU Park, and the reason why they did is to defer the wind so they can get more power. But the way he explained, he was just like, he was so it was very cool to see that this is a guy who was paying attention to why the left field wall is the way it is out there. Yeah. And it just blew my mind because it's just, he was just saying, well, the reason why is the wind and how it affects it based off, because I told him last year, well, a lot of home runs went to the left. He goes, yeah, that's why you're seeing more than right. I'm like, well, I didn't know the wind was knocking it down. It was just really in full conversation. Like he was just, not that most kids are not insightful or anything, but it's just how self-aware or how aware he is of baseball things. You know what I mean?
This has happened a couple times. Years back, I was able to go down to the Tiger Den or whatever it is and talk to. They had the 4 big pitchers back then. It was Matt Manning, Alex Faedo, Franklin Perez, and Casey Mize. Casey Mize was the new guy, and as soon as you talked to him, you understood this guy has the presence of a 1-1 pick. It's different. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like all these guys are very good players, but you feel there's something different about these guys, where a team feels confident taking them with their first overall pick or 1-1. And Clark was the same way. It was like, I totally see if they liked this kid's game and sat down with him for 10, 15 minutes, I don't see, you come out of that thinking, we got to take this kid.
Yeah.
And
he's got the, the presence and intelligence of a player who's going to get everything out of themselves, which, a big part of it.
And I believe the kids, they call it aura these days for some reason, but
aura,
and beyond that, he is doing what we wanted him to do earlier. He's doing it more often. He's pulling the ball in the air and hitting it very hard, and that's really encouraging to see. So that was Friday. Saturday was all the Moon Mammoth stuff. The whole weekend was really awesome. As we said, everybody from Erie is just incredibly good to us, and it's always fun going out there. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Lena, who was all about business. Shout out to everybody else we talked to.
Yeah, it was the most interesting thing too was watching Kevin McGonigal have 3 hits.
Yeah.
On Saturday, Captain America's shit. there.
Yeah.
Also, I want to give a real quick plug to Federal Hill Barbecue or Roadhouse. Is it Federal Hill Roadhouse?
Federal Hill Smokehouse.
Yeah, Federal Smokehouse. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the best barbecue I've ever had. I honestly, like, I've had barbecue. That's a bold statement, I know. And they're open 11 to 3. They're on, I think, 26 and Peach Street. And they're open until they're out. And you go in there, and it's like this brick building that looks like something out of the, like, like the 1920s. Like, just because it's right on the corner. It's kind of, there's a tattoo parlor next door. Brandon, as soon as you drive up behind this building, you smell the barbecue. Okay. Shout out to Joe. Joe, who's in our Discord, who recommended it, a friend of his own. You walk in, and there's already a line in there. And the owner is the one who gives you the food, right? So he's been there since 2015. And you can get the brisket with fat or no, like with the fat on it or not. You can get it lean.
Lean, yeah.
Yeah. And my God, Brandon, it was so good. So good. I'm dead serious. Like I'm on, normally my fat ass would probably go back and try to go and get more food. I didn't. I got peach cobbler instead.
Ooh.
This is not the food podcast here. But it was fun. Like, Brandon, you can ask Chris. Like, it was just, Chris had the 3-meat sandwich.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and just to give Raj some more credit here, he actually, while we were there, he tweeted or texted some of the people at Erie and asked if they wanted some food because he knew that they were working like crazy, and they were like, "Yes, thank you." That's they're like, I was not going to find a chance to eat today, and so he brought. Did you get pulled pork for Sam or brisket? I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, it was two pulled pork sandwiches. Yeah.
But yeah. So Sam was eating that in the ticket area, and all the other people there were like, "Come on, that smells amazing! What are you doing?" Yeah, the place was outstanding. Yeah. I was just gonna get brisket, and then I asked him what it's called, the Pit, and it was brisket, pulled pork, and sausage, and I was like, "Well, I'm only gonna be here one time. Let's try them all." And it was they're all outstanding. That the barbecue sauce was really good. The sweet sauce was really tasty, and then I put a little spicy in there too. And they had your Carolina mustard sauce if you need. Really good stuff.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So Jordan from the Eat 'em Up podcast is going to be going there Friday, and I told him stop by bio there. So, Charles, are we attending the Arizona Fall League? If we have enough money, we will be going. So if there's that, we still have that GoFundMe. Trust me. Thank you for the $10, by the way. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
If we can get the money to go out there, by all means, I would love to go to the Arizona Fall League. It's been on my bucket list for a while. I know there's a Sabre conference going on around there at the same time too. So if we have the funds, we will go. Trust me. I do want to go because that'd be another tip or feather in the cap. I wanted to go to the All-Star game in Atlanta because we have the ability to do so for that, but we just started the insurance, started working on the kitchen, and the kitchen's been demoed. So today we have a dumpster in our driveway right now. I sent Chris earlier the sounds, so you just hear like really just it's ridiculous. So all right, back to baseball conversation. We talked
real quick. Let's hit that. Let's just hit that one question because you answered it, and like the top prospects, max EVs, real quick. I mean, I think we can kind of take a swag at it, right? I mean, it's Tyrone Alonso, Brasino. And then you could maybe argue about Rainier and McGonigal.
McGonigal and Clark would be in there in the conversation. I would also put Brett Callahan in there too. Brett Callahan definitely would be in the top 5.
He just asked about the top prospects, so I was just going to keep it short.
The top prospects. I'm sorry, but I was thinking about like exit velocity wise, Callahan would be up there because he put up some high exit velocities.
Garrett Pennington and Patrick Lee both put up pretty huge exit velocities too, although that doesn't necessarily mean so. Yeah,
I think Raj mentioned we do have some data on all that, so it's not searchable necessarily right now, but in the Arizona Fall League, I do think Lorenzo and Brasino both put up like 113.
Yeah.
And since in the last 2 years on Statcast, Hao-Yu Lee is the highest at 112.2. Among these top prospects, the highest are Akil Baddoo, Eddie Leonard, and Jose De La Cruz. But Garrett Pennington 111.8 there. Bryce Rainier 111.6, 111.5, and then he supposedly had the 114 in the spring breakout game.
Yeah.
You know what we could do is we could do a graphic for that. So that's actually a really good idea. We can just, if you give me the stats, Chris, I could put up a graphic for it and start putting the dates together and do that. Oh, Jordan, thanks so much for the $10. Appreciate it. He says long time listener, first time catching the show live. Thanks for the insight. Keep rocking. Much appreciated, Jordan. Thank you so much. We also we have an idea. So I'll give credit to the Tigers, Cody and Kieran's. This was an idea. They had a quarter century Tiger team. So what we're going to do is a quarter century team for Erie, Toledo, West Michigan, and Lakeland.
Oh, cool.
So I'm still coming up with the formatting of it, but Greg Ganga gave me some insight on how to construct the rosters a little bit. We're going to leave one spot open for our fans to vote on our Twitter or X account. I think it'd be kind of cool. One positional player, one pitcher, all time. So, but it's also going to have to be like, okay, so how many games does it qualify? And but you think about the last 25 years, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. You're going to hear some names that you haven't heard in a while. Like Chris brought up John Conley. I'm like, totally forgot about John Conley.
You don't guys who just like skip through like 2 levels a year, and like, where do you put them?
Like when people brought that, I was immediately thinking like Ryan Strebe, who had a monster year in Lakeland back in the day, and then Stephen Moya had the craziest season in Erie, and then John Connolly, John Kibler. For a while, there were these left-handed college starters who would show up at West Michigan and throw nothing but change-ups and just screw all these young players into the ground. And they weren't really prospects, but they would just, it's like a 1.75 ERA and 160 strikeouts and 180 innings or something crazy like that.
Yep.
So Dwayne Belo might be even.
Dwayne Belo?
Dwayne Belo would be on there. But yeah, we're gonna be coming up with that. So the all century or quarter century. I can't believe we're actually saying that. We're gonna have a quarter century team for each affiliate. So, Patrick. Patrick Lee had 4 stolen bases Sunday. Yeah. So would he be like Mike? Yeah, Mike Hessman would definitely be a lock for Toledo. Yeah. Absolutely,
for sure.
Gage Workman would probably go in Erie.
Yeah, well, I mean there are a lot of interesting choices. I mentioned Casper Wells having that. I think he had a 25-25 season one year. I will say, just to finish off the exit velocity things, recorded at least, we have McGonigal at 110. Supposedly got up to 112 this year in higher levels, but we don't have access to that. And then Clark was 106.7 in Lakeland, but apparently the home run he hit in Harrisburg was 108. So he's getting up there now too. So that's what we have, and we'll do better to put that out.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
As far as what it means, it's just like, you want guys that are above 108 as much as possible, but kind of once you get to a certain point, it's just how many balls do you pull in the air,
Yeah. Well, we've seen, anything above 95 is a hard hit ball according to StatCast, and if you hit it the right launch angle, that's going to be good. And we've seen, Colt Keith doesn't hit the snot out of the ball. He can, he doesn't.
Yeah. He's really shortened up in the bigs. Yeah.
No. So anyway.
Yeah. So there's a 3-part question here, and then we'll move on. Hey, what's up? It's I don't know anymore, bro. He says, "Hey guys, what's up? 2 questions. First, do you think Flaherty is hurt? If he is, when does somebody come to sit him down, man to man, tell him he's hurting the team more than he's helping? Maybe he gets right, he can turn around the playoffs. And second, who is a breakout prospect do you think in the Tigers organization that's being overlooked? Love stuff last weekend. Have a healthy and safe second leg of the season. Thank you for that question." So for the first part, I think Flaherty's fine. I think it's a matter of either, I don't think his velocity's down any further or anything like that. I just think that he's just been I don't know. I think he's fine. I don't think he's hurt.
No, I don't think he's hurt. I just think his command is sucked. Keeps falling behind people and then having to throw fastballs in there, and he can't do that. It's like a pretty average fastball with a above average slider and maybe a freaking 70 knuckle curve, but you can't just rely on just that. And that's all it is he's getting out of whack and falling behind people, getting himself in jams, walking guys. You can't pitch from behind in the big leagues unless you have like Tarek Skubal's fastball as an equalizer when you're behind, or something that you can just fire a little. So I really think that's all it is. And here, while you go, I'll look up his numbers just over like the last month, because I don't think it's as bad as people feel like it is right at the moment.
He had he had a blow up start against Tampa, I think, and then some other ones that weren't terribly pretty, but he's been pretty good otherwise. Yeah, no, even Skubal, when he on the occasion, falls behind and walks people, he gets people, right? Like that happened against was it Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it happens. And with Flaherty, I don't know how many times we say this, but he's had back issues, and you never know. There may be something tiny and small that is affecting his mechanics, which is then affecting his command. It could be that. It could be, who knows? I mean, pitching is difficult, and missing your spot by an inch or two could be the difference between a strikeout and a home run. And
he's always been kind of streaky.
Yeah.
It's kind of a 10 where he locks in, and you get 5 or 6 really dominant starts out of him, maybe sometimes more like we did last year. But then there's usually some payback where it goes bad and he's kind of spraying it a little bit and can't find the cue to get him sorted out. And that's a really good point about his back, because that is kind of like an ongoing saga with him. And if something's bothering him, he may just not be able to use any of the cues he normally does. But I doubt that he's hurt, because if he was actually hurt and it was really bothering him, I just think the Tigers would sit him down. Of course, I could say the same thing about Javi Baez and Kerry Carpenter, and they didn't sit him down. They've just been playing him, despite having a monster lead and needing to just be good at the end of the season. But I digress. He's probably not injured. For the last, going back to the 21st of June, Flaherty has a 3.85 FIP. He has a 4.09 or 4.03 ERA. That's not including tonight. So it's going to be worse. But it's not like he's devolved into he's unpitchable. It's just that right now you don't feel like you could start him in a playoff game. Obviously, you'd be going Skubal, Olsen, Mize, or Mize Olsen. So I don't know. That's where we're at. So hopefully they can get him right. But when it's command, it's just so hard to know.
Yeah. As far as the second part of that question goes, who's a breakout prospect you guys think overlooked in the organization right now? Which kind of segues into our top 30 discussion here with Baseball America. I would say this: if it's going to be anybody, Trey Cruz is not exactly a top prospect. I mean, he's kind of beyond the prospect status, but because he hasn't made the major league team, I still think that Trey Cruz is going to be a bench bat somewhere. I think he's underrated. I mean, we've had him on our top 30 here and there, top 30 or top 40 list. It's always constantly changing. But as far as maybe a pitcher wise goes, I think Andrew Sears should be getting some consideration. There is the Tyler Matz or Cole Heap. Watched his changeup this weekend, and Chris and I were just like, it was ridiculous. We're
2,900 RPM changeup.
Yep. And then he allowed that home run on a fastball that was sitting 94, but that change was ridiculous. But those are kind of some names I consider.
Yeah. If Cole Hep could just stay healthy, I mean, this stuff has always been pretty ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, he stands way out above most of the other relief prospects. However, you exactly want to rank him or consider him an actual prospect. Some of the other guys, but yeah, I mean, Cole Hep, it's just a matter of can he stay healthy and find a groove and throw strikes. So he's definitely interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe John Peck. I don't know. Yeah. John Peck isn't getting a ton of love. Yeah. But he's at least interesting.
So
he's been hitting the ball.
There are a handful of hitters this year that I mean, Max Anderson kind of came back from the dead. It wasn't maybe that serious, right? But he was a guy we didn't think a whole lot of last year, and he's just been awesome for the most part this year with the bat, at least. But yeah, there are 3 or 4 players that have had nice breakouts this year, productive wise. But it's like Pacheco and Peck and Jackson Strong. But they all still have kind of strikeout issues. Mm-hmm. It's not preventing them from being productive, but you do wonder if that's probably why they haven't moved up. But I'm glad Raj mentioned Sears, because I do think there's some interesting breakouts on the pitching side.
Yeah.
Sears is one of them. Lucas Ellisalt is a guy that we've brought up a lot, where the production's there, the stuff is there. He's young. I think he just turned 21.
Yeah.
He throws strikes.
He's projectable still, as far as getting a little more velocity, which is kind of all he really needs in a stuff department way.
Yeah, that's a guy. If he were sitting 93, 94 and touching 96, Yeah. I mean, he might be the second best pitching prospect in the system. So
Yep.
he's a name to keep an eye on. And Sears is really fun too. Like Sears will occasionally have an iffy outing, but he's a dude who gets out of jams constantly. Like if he gets people on, he's just like, oh, I'll just get out of it, and he does. Like every time. I don't know how. It's not sustainable, I don't think, but he seems to have that it factor where he gets upset and gets outs.
Yeah, if he could just amp a couple things up just a little bit, because he's amped up, and he's an aggressive a pitcher as you're going to see. Just getting up there and just chucking it at you over and over again, fast and working fast. He's kind of an interesting guy for sure. I mean, probably a relief prospect,
Intense.
but yeah, intense. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then there's the anti-breakouts, for me, which is like Gabriel Reyes and Rainer Castillo, who I really liked both of them last year, but both have kind of so far just kind of stumbled. But they're both young, and especially Castillo could turn it around.
Yeah, Reyes has picked up as of late too. He's getting back to kind of form a little bit, and so another guy we'd add on that too would be not talked about is Preston Howery too. Preston Howery's been putting out some really good numbers too.
Howie and Ashman,
Ashman, really good. Look, keeping Gouache isn't a prospect, but I'm kind of stoked about Gouache.
Me too.
Yeah.
Gouache.
So we got to see him. We saw him on Friday night, right?
Yeah, Friday night. Yeah.
We actually got to see, like, just on a baseball sense, we got to see almost every player we wanted to see. We've seen Burhan before, but would have been fun to see him again. He pitched on Sunday, but we already left. But we saw Gouache, we saw Yosber Sanchez, we saw Tanner Colehep, we saw Tyler Madison. I'm trying to think, was there anybody else? We saw Pettit, we saw Magno, we saw all the relievers. Gouache I think he pitched the 9th and the 10th.
Yep.
And he did well in the 9th, and then the 10th fell apart.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily entirely his fault, but it's one of those extra inning games where it just like things go sideways completely, and it was a 5-run inning.
And he hit somebody, and
he eventually they eventually took him out, and I don't.
He had a wild pitch, I think. Yeah, he had a wild. Yeah, it was a wild pitch.
And the ultimate backbreaker was given up by the next pitcher, but it was they were charged to Gouache. And the bummer, because we were talking about that, Clark was going to be on the extra runner on second base, and so you had Clark on second base with Lorenzo, Briseño, McGonigal, Anderson, and all that. We're like, they're going to score 3 runs. Like these guys are good, and they did. It just wasn't enough. So
it was too much to overcome with that. But so real quick before we get to Emily here in a second, I wanted to talk about Baseball America's Top 30 update, which was caused a little bit of a Twitter storm among some folks here. So their midseason update included who the Tigers drafted in their recent drafts. So it was Kevin McGonigal, number 1, no problem with that. Although it has right now Rody Brito. Right now the list something's going on with the list. It's all wacky, but
all jacked up at the moment. But
Max Clark 2, Bryce Rayner number 3, Tyrone Lorenzo at number 4, which was kind of over Briseño. Then it was, I'm going to just pull up the list that I sent over to you, Brandon.
It's hot.
What's up?
I can keep going if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So number 6 would then be Hao Yu Lee, 7 Jaden Ham, 8 Jace Young, 9 Nick Dumasnil, and 10 would be Jordan Yost.
Yeah, and then Framber Montilla at number 11, Enrique Jimenez number 12, Tyler Matson number 13, Chris Rodriguez 14, Chase Lee, who technically isn't a prospect anymore by some standards, 15, Max Anderson 16. Here's the one I had a problem with. Witherspoon at number 17 and Troy Milton at 18.
Yeah. I have a big problem with that one, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Well, so this is what I mentioned before, what we were just talking. Like, I agree, like, the list looks kind of weird. But, as we said, the Baseball America, they did an update, I don't know, like a month ago to the top 30s, and they still hadn't moved things around. But they do a top 500 draft prospects list every year. And it's great. For those people who follow the draft, it's an incredible resource.
It's awesome.
And they spend hours and hours on that, days, weeks, whatever. And so basically what they do is they take the rankings of their top 500 list and slide them right into where they think they fit on the team's list. So that's why Nick Dumanel was higher ranked than Jordan Yost on their top 500. And he went in the 8th round. in their opinion, the Tigers got an incredible steal in the 8th round, but they really reached on their first 2 picks. And we listened to the podcast where they were going through and judging everybody's draft, and they were up front. They were like, "This draft didn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. It just feels like they wasted resources." They actually speculated that Tigers may have had their pockets picked, like right before, maybe Sean Gamble, and just kind of pivoted to 2 guys that they really liked and just took them earlier than they were expecting to. Who knows? But yeah, that's why the draft picks are kind of wonky, because they just slid him in from where on their draft list. And as I was saying, like, I would argue that where these players were drafted and the bonuses they were given are very strong data points for how they are actually viewed within baseball. And that should probably change your mind. But after you've done all that work, you might as well stick with it for a little while.
Well, and like you're saying, if you don't then have the time to like go in and redo the whole top 30, you're just going to stuff these guys in there. You're not really rethink. I assume that they didn't regrade or rethink Troy Melton to have him. No. I mean, Troy Melton is 6 or 7 right now, and I don't really think that's very arguable. Yeah. So it is what it is. But you're probably right about that. But I guess for them to go back in and like have to reconsider the whole top 5 where they had everybody based on where they got drafted and classify them that way, it'd be interesting to talk to like them about it. And I know you might be able to do that. And then, to talk to like Longenhagen or, Kylie McDaniel or something. Like, how do you process that when a draft goes way differently than your board, did? Do you think, my God, I'm terrible at this? Or do you, because it happens every year. Everyone understands that, you can't nail a draft, not in baseball, especially. So do you adjust your opinion then, or do you just try to give it time? It is what it is. So I guess probably we shouldn't really think of this as a mid-season complete redo of the Baseball America top 30. They just kind of shuffled the draft guys in where they thought they should go.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we talked to JJ, and hopefully we'll have him on next week, and have we have not had him on in a while, but I would just be curious because we on Campos, Robert Earl Campos, and we talked about him a little bit and where he's at. But I just some of, like I said, it's worth it. It was like some people on Twitter went, and when I first saw it, I was mad, but then I'm like, well, wait a minute. And then I have to sit back and go, okay, where am I looking at this list? Like objectively speaking, I understand where they're coming from with it. At the same time, it is just those guys are doing, as Chris mentioned, 500 different high school guys and college guys. That's a lot of work, and we're hyper focused on one team.
Sure. Yeah, and so they're focused on 30 different farm systems. So the minor leagues in general.
Yeah.
What else is going on? The major leagues. It's not their big thing, but they do write major league stories. College baseball, amateur baseball. They've got big rankings for the class of 2026 and the 2027. They're doing a ton of stuff. They're covering the Cape Cod League, all this stuff. So they do a great job. We can't expect them. Yeah. And for us, it's fine, right? We think we have the best Tigers prospect lists out there because we pay attention to these guys. And that gives us some blind spots. But I don't know. I don't mind their list at all. And I appreciate the work that they do. And it's fun to point at it and go, that's wrong.
And that's what it is. Like, I mean, if that's all, if you don't have to do one yourself, it's it's very comfortable to just be like, well, what the hell? Honestly, looking at it, Troy Melton is the only one that really burns me. That one kind of irritates me, but it's all right.
I just think because
there's always a few,
I just having an outfielder who's never played a level of minor league baseball based off his upside at number 8 just seems a little weird to me, because I'd rather put Chris Rodriguez there. If you put Nick there at number 14 and you swap him and Rodriguez out, okay, that works to me. Like that would be that to me would be more ideal.
Well, here's a good philosophical argument, though. Like, what do you value more? Do you value a 17-year-old doing things in the Dominican Summer League, or do you value 3 years of college and a good Cape Cod League performance?
Yeah.
Because that's what you get from Duminel, who by the way, our Discord is calling Doom Snail. And I approve of that nickname, even though the S is apparently silent. But Doom Snail, that should stick, especially if he's good.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like, we tend to not. I don't know. We usually rank draft picks, even though we haven't necessarily seen them play, just because we kind of trust the industry. But we do like to see guys play before we really put in a ton of thoughts on them.
And the final, my final word on this is anyway, is that like prospect lists don't matter. What matters is
Exactly.
the reports,
Yeah.
and how well you can identify tools, strengths, weaknesses. Like look for that stuff. Where guys are in the ordinal list usually is just not that big of a deal.
Right.
Even though, I mean, I'm no different. Every once in a while, just like with Melton, I'm just like, what, how could you possibly do that? But I'm sure you can look at all my lists and find a couple of those. I mean, I've made some catastrophic blunders as well. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, our list is not perfect either, but I mean, we see it the way we see it, and so that's where a guy like, for example, Patrick Lee might make a roster someday because he might fly under the radar because of all the little intelligence. Just as an example, or
Yeah.
a guy like Trey Cruz, like just there's guys in the industry in the organization that just suddenly come up out of nowhere, like Brian Herter, for example.
Mhm.
Until you put that last 2 months in Erie performance, if you put that in perspective, Brian Herter was not on any prospect list, but we saw that he started dominating Double A, and he started kind of getting when he started learning that third pitch and became more of a weapon. He
Mhm.
came up and really, made a really big difference there. So, Kevin, thank you so much for the 1999. Enjoyed Chris on the
Oh,
Moon Mammoth broadcast on
Thank you.
Saturday.
hey, thanks for
You
watching.
guys doing a great job. Best minor league podcast and slaying baseball. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Kevin. Much appreciated. And you know what? We
Thank
haven't
you.
we haven't said this. Hold on. Let me get him.
That
Yeah.
ball is gone.
Yeah. Give him the Weber love.
Touch him all
Oh yeah,
time.
we got him the Weber one too. Got him.
Off the Frickers building.
There we go.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. No, sincerely, thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just real quick from the Charles M asked the question: since the Tigers have saved over $1 million in underslot signing bonuses, does this mean River Hamilton / Ethan Rogers might sign? I'm 100% expecting River Hamilton to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have taken him in the 11th round if they didn't have something worked out there. Rogers, I think, is probably a fallback in case Hamilton doesn't sign for whatever reason. So I wouldn't necessarily expect him to sign, but Hamilton is really fun. I hope, he had the elbow injury, so I don't really know what the situation is there. But we put up a video of him throwing 3 innings in perfect game stuff, and there's a lot. Like it's a really skinny, like loose arm, very fast. Fastball is already 94, 95 with some hop to it, and doesn't have great, consistency with his breaking ball, but when he throws a good one, it's a good one. So a lot to work with there. That's a really exciting young prospect. Of all the high school players they've taken, of the last 3 years, he seems like the one with the best mix of like what he looks like right now and also projectability.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Me, at
there
least.
was a was it Kyle in our Discord said that he has a fastball similar to Max Scherzer in terms of his. And when I looked at his follow through and the way this fastball kind of rises like that, I definitely could see that. That was a good
Kind of
comp
low,
there on that.
low
Yeah.
release point and kind of the rider. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because especially his not necessarily the way his even his arm slot a little bit kind of has that. Scherzer almost, I don't want to say he looked like over the top, but Scherzer almost had.
But he
Until
he threw himself like so much forward. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that was very it was good. It was good watching him. I watched that performance today at lunch, and yeah, it was just his command. He's gonna be a good pitcher to watch, and same thing with Witherspoon. I finally got to chance the clips. By the way, Brandon, those something we were talking about over the weekend when we were driving in. Finding clips for these guys was impossible. Really, really hard. It was the hardest draft of all the drafts we've done. That was the hardest one to do to find video for.
Yeah,
It gets easier, but in high school, it's always tough to begin with. And you know how Scott Harris loves the prep, so
I need my pirates out there to put more videos on YouTube, man. Like I can't find videos of like these college players. I got a bunch of Cameron Douglas, their 20th round pick, but I couldn't find anything from Dumanil. Having a tough time with Ben Jacobs and Lays and all it's hard out there. But we did, we got Witherspoon up there. We've got Hamilton up there. I did find one high school game from Jordan Yost. So I've got like 5 at bats and a stolen base and some defensive plays.
He was like a mystery. Yeah, it's like, well, all I know is he's a little guy who can defend, and he's got great bat to ball skills. Okay, I'll take that. But I hadn't seen anything. I guess the thing about Hamilton too, though, is just for people out there, keep in mind like prep arms are chaos. And I had like 5 from the last 2 drafts on our last list, and they're all like, everybody's broke. Owen Hull's broke. Zach Swanson's broke. Ethan Scheffelbein is a mystery bag. Paul Wilson,
Yeah.
Blake Dickerson.
I mean,
It's been rough, man.
yeah, they were. It's yeah. It's some of them are going to disappear. Some of them are going to figure it out. Some of them are probably going to wash out. Relatively soon. It's really hard to know. But the Tigers have gotten pretty good at development, and this will be a big step to see if they can kind of turn all these high school pitchers around and turn them into interesting prospects. If they do, and they're all going at the same time, it'll be a lot of fun. But it seems unlikely.
Even if we can get a couple, just get a couple of them there, we'll be all right.
Yeah, they did. It was one of those drafts where I said they needed pitching, and we don't. Of course, we talked about this numerous times. You don't draft for need, but they definitely needed arms. It was with the amount of infielders they have, it was just bizarre to see them actually address that need. Yeah, the draft also
like an upper minor, like a guy who's going to be in the upper minors in college.
It was Nabrowski style because Nabrowski, Dave Nabrowski always kind of upperclassmen pitchers, juniors, seniors that were polished and ready to go. And so the one question that Jake had about Ryan Hall, by the way, is the question for the draft signings. Go ahead, Chris.
He's not. They're going to sign him. They took him in the fifth round. I guess the question there is how overslot is he going to get? He was a 6'1", really athletic kid. They tell you he was a very good quarterback too, and was going to go to Georgia Tech. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the slot there is like 480,000 or something like that. So I have him. I'm guessing he's going to get 750. We'll see. It could be up to $1 million or more. We don't know. But I'm almost positive he'll sign. And he's another interesting arm, right? Like it's apparently a lot of upside there. But the only video I could find of him was taken from like a 45-degree angle behind home plate with no velocity or anything like that. So it's like, well, do I want to put this up? I don't know.
Covering that is fun, but it's hard work, man. That's why I was gone in the UP for the last 10 days and have no idea what's going on. The last 2 days, I've just been reading frantically and watching video, trying to keep up.
Yeah.
So somebody wants to know if I slept yet, and
yeah,
I slept.
We both crashed out when we got back on Sunday. You fell asleep pretty quickly after you got back, and then I drove home and did some clips, and then I fell asleep, and then you took over for Toledo for the rest of the night. So, it was. I mean, we didn't stay up too late on Saturday night. We could have, but we chose not to.
Yeah, it was one of those times where we
It's
actually
a long
took.
drive.
It was a long drive, and it was a lot of things going on. Emily's having technical issues. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm trying to accommodate right now.
Well,
why she can't come on? It's really weird. Oh.
Yeah, Emily was down in Toledo. I think I don't know if she did she go to Lansing?
Yeah, I believe she did.
Lansing. Toledo had Friday night's game was rained out, but then they had or Saturday nights. One of the games was rained out, and then it had a doubleheader. Let's see. All right, Nick's got a question. What do you guys think about the team's philosophy of just going best player available for high school talent early the last 3 years, just mold the best talent possible for the longest period of time? I'm just tired of hearing you explain that, Lyle. What is that?
Yeah, I don't know what he's referring to.
But that was a different.
Yeah. Okay.
No, for Nick. Yeah, I mean, I think this was very. We've said this before. This is very much like a trust the process kind of draft, if you will. Like, not necessarily for fans, but like this organization believes in themselves so much as player development kind of apparatus that that they're really kind of like, trust me, bro. We like these guys. They put the bat on the ball. We're really good players, and we have no real reason to doubt them just yet. I mean, particularly given the high school players that they've taken so far and how exciting they are. At least the hitters. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. It sometimes these drafts, like they surprise you, and other times, like 2 years down the road, you go, well, it looks like everybody else was right. Like these guys. It's not working out, but who knows?
I mean, the strategy, like in essence, is like a bulk strategy. Like they want as many of the best young athletes they can. They don't want them to learn from anybody else. They want them to come up, the Tiger way. And I think in general, I mean, that makes good sense if you have a good player development system, and they clearly are a lot better than they used to be, and pretty clearly, one of the better teams. Maybe not the best, but getting there. And I think that's fine. My only question is whether or not they can be flexible with it. when the opportunity arises. And I'm not really sure there's like much of an example that qualifies yet. We could go back to Wyatt Langford and Max Clark once again, which I don't really want to do. But you just as a philosophy, I think it makes perfect sense for them. I just don't want them to be like, this is the only, don't pass on a really good player in the second or third round because you're necessarily worried about signing like these 5 guys that you're going to take, later on. That's about it. As a strategy, in general, you want left-handed bats. You want guys who are athletic and have speed. You want guys that play up the middle. Just gaming out a draft class based on that without even considering the players, is a smart place to start, and they've done that as well. So overall, I don't think you can knock it too hard.
Well, and the one thing we said, kind of post draft was, if so far they've been, for the most part, they've been saving money, in areas and then spending the extra on high school pitching. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned before, they're all hurt. It doesn't necessarily, like, they've had some college pitchers get hurt too, right? Like, pitching is bad for you. But if it happens again this year, the high school pitchers they took this year don't work out, and you may want to see them maybe change a little bit. I know it's harder to float good hitters in the draft than to float interesting pitchers, but they may need to pivot from the strategy if these guys keep getting hurt.
Or we'll see a couple of them from 2023 come back from injury and suddenly start making progress, and then we all feel better. But it's a long process, and I can also understand some frustration with the fact that the team is good and they're stockpiling guys who, some of them you can really evaluate quickly, others that you won't be able to evaluate for a really long time. So it's hard to know like how good this or that draft was beyond the top guys, but that's just the cost of doing business. And I wouldn't worry about that.
The only thing we
do too is they're not keeping roster spots for guys who have no shot. They're going out aggressively. Yeah. They're signing minor league free agents and undrafted guys and doing the right things there too.
No, I think the biggest thing that you can say that they have been able to do is take the guys that they did have prior to during the Avila and maximize them. As far as their own guys go, as far as drafting their own guys, the jury's still out on it a little bit. I mean, to be fair, I mean, they haven't. I'm trying to think of anybody as far as like during the Harris era who's been drafted.
Oh, you cut out.
Okay, there we go. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Who's made the major leagues? So, I mean, as far as like like the Harris draft era, as far as those guys go, and they've been able to make guys better that they have. So that's where you can kind of like look at, for example, they have a reliever core right now that's going on really well at West Michigan and Erie and Toledo and Lakeland. But as far as offensive bats goes, it's you're still not like outside of the big. What do you got? Yeah. And that to me is a little concerned. I'm a little concerned with that. Really, I'm not trying to be nitpicky about it, but I am. If you look at the outfield, if Nick DeMille, or is it Dumanil is going to be your top 10 prospect in there already, that means how much of your outfield depth is in question. So
yeah, there are some weaknesses certainly throughout the system, but I don't know. I mean, you even look at some of the picks we were skeptical about, like Max Anderson. Well, it doesn't. Max, they were right. Doesn't mean Max Anderson's going to be a good major league player, but Max Anderson has value now, and that value is not concrete and set, but it is real. So I mean, it's hard to argue with them, and maybe that's part of what does annoy some people is it is hard to argue with them yet because the top guys have mostly worked out. They all look good. Rayner got hurt. That sucks, but he looked fucking great. Is how I would put it, in my opinion. Like way more than I was expecting right away. So you can factor all those things in and nitpicks. I mean, Scott Harris does have a lot of things still to prove. I mean, this isn't that much his roster, at the major league level. His guys have had a lot to do with, helping Tarek Skubal become the best in the game. And, there's plenty of successes that you can point to, but you can also point to like whatever you want. Eduardo Rodriguez or, Hao Yu Lee has been, good, but he isn't in the major leagues yet. If you want to complain about that, you can always nitpick a few little details, but it's just that Scott Harris has only been here 2 years. And the biggest test he's going to face is like right now, because he better find the right arm or two to set this thing up. I'm not concerned about his ability to draft and organize player development and all that kind of stuff. Not concerned about that at all, or really his player evaluations in general. Is he going to be bold enough to win this team a World Series, or are we going to kind of look like a decent
Baltimore?
Or even like a car team when they didn't win the World Series, for like 4 or 5 years, but they were still, like a good team some years, but never got it done. But there's no way to guarantee getting it done. All you can do is try to make the show as much as you can and put yourself in the best position to win now without mortgaging the future entirely. So, and that comes back to like the Gino Suarez debate. Like, do you want to trade Josue Briseño for 3 months of Gino Suarez? I kind of don't. I won't be mad if they do. But that's like, if you want to distill it down to like one trade and how it reflects on your whole philosophy, that's a good one to sit and dwell on. I think by and large fans just want the best player right now, and I get that.
This is where Harris is going to get judged the most. I really think this is the trade deadline. Sorry that I'm really pissed with the technical issues there with Emily. I'm not sure what's going on, and we'll have to keep moving on here. But wanted to present the slides this week. As of them last week, as we were just with the draft, we did 4.5 hours of streaming, and we just didn't have enough time to do the slides. So that being said, we wanted to go ahead and get this going today. This is a farm moves in terms of injury list because there's so much activity that happens. Hunter Dobbins. Chris, who the hell is Hunter Dobbins? Why am I not?
He was an undrafted free agent catcher, I think, that they grabbed, or I don't even. Yeah, I don't remember where he came, but yeah, he's a catcher.
Okay.
I don't know if he's actually played yet. But he's activated.
So, Brady Allen's on the hot and ready list. Luke Vanasco, who was released by the Tigers and then came back, is on a 60-day IL. Tanner Riley, the Nationals and just mostly relieved as the Pirates reliever, was sent to the Mud Hens. And Blake Madris is on his way back. And Alex Lang is doing his rehab assignment right now, throwing a lot of more knuckle, pretty much basically throwing a knuckle curveball and a fastball. That's really about it, what he's doing in Toledo.
Yeah.
So
I think he only threw like a couple curveballs too last night. It was pretty stinker heavy, but his velocity was fine before he felt whatever he felt in his lat. He looked close. It's just we might very quickly, I assume, we'll be right back to where we always are with Alex Lang, which is can he throw enough strikes, which was a problem before he got injured. So I don't know. I don't know how much to hope there or anything. The hope is one Troy Melton.
Yeah, Troy Melton, who came in and threw nothing but fire again. Soda Gibson Long got hit up against Memphis, and Melton came in relief. 4 scoreless innings, 5 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and starting on Wednesday, making his MLB debut. Ryan Kreidler. They're going to have to make a roster move, so we'll see what happens to Ryan Kreidler. 0 for 4. They just had 3 games this week. Bailey Horn started yesterday. Yeah. As the Tigers or the Mud Hens had 2 7th inning doubleheaders, and they did Tigers had yesterday 4 affiliate shutouts. They had Lakeland, Erie, West Michigan, and then the first game in the 7th inning shutout that Toledo won. They ended up splitting a doubleheader. So. Hayu Lee has been struggling a little bit. Trey Cruz has been adjusted in Toledo, but the rest of the Mud Hens, I don't know, Chris, was there anything else that really stood out to you at all this week? I mean,
Malloy hit a monster home run, right? And Workman hit a long home run too. I think somebody brought it up in the chat, but that Jahmai Jones hasn't been doing a whole lot. He's supposed to be that right-handed bat to hit lefties, and he hasn't done much of that at all lately. Ibanez hasn't been doing much in Toledo, so it may be Malloy time. I think that the one thing is that if they get rid of Jones, he's gone for good, right? I think he doesn't have any more options, and so somebody else will pick him up. It's just a matter of how much they care about that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make any sort of panic moves to get another bat, but if the offense keeps sputtering like this for another week or so, then I could see them, saying, "All right, we need something."
Yeah, but it'll probably be something. Yeah, I would be very surprised if Scott Harris went out and traded for Geno Suarez in particular or someone and really there's no trade for anybody unless you're getting somebody really good. So I don't know, but maybe they find a little role player, somebody who fits in somewhere better. I don't know. I kind of feel like Scott Harris is going to look for, he's not going to look for rentals. I'll just put it that way. Like he's, whatever he does is going to try to solve. Yeah, he's going to try to solve a problem, even if he goes and gets somebody really good like Bednar. For the bullpen, Bednar, they have team control next year. Those are the guys to look for. I just can't see him like renting a player for any good prospects. But we'll see. We'll see what he show us what you got, Scott Harris. It's time, big dog.
Yeah, this is the pressure luck moment. No whammies, and just gonna stop and get themselves a power hitter.
Kerry Carpenter sounds like he's going to go out on a rehab assignment to Toledo in the next couple days. Kerry Carpenter coming back obviously helps this offense. Matt Bierling looking like he's starting to settle in will help this offense. Parker Meadows is now like 130 PA into being back and not looking too good, guys. But that would really
get a double today, but.
Yeah, that's true. And, the Tigers will probably, the Tigers are going to be patient with him, but, he doesn't, that hasn't helped the way I thought it would. So, but he's going to have to pick it up here a little bit.
Yeah. And Winsell cooled down like we kind of expected. It's just everybody's kind of cool right now at the same time, which is not great.
Yeah.
Especially when we have
it's all about who gets, who's hot in late September through October. So there's no way to time that stuff up, but you can't just like turn over your roster because everybody's playing bad for a couple weeks, Yeah. So not that I'm telling you guys this, obviously.
There's a lot of panic going on right now. You would forget that this team won 60 games based off some of the behavior you see online. It's really strange. Yeah. Especially because you have Toronto after this, and Toronto is one of the best teams in the American League now. And the Blue Jays are just, you knew the offense was there. It was just a matter of pitching. And George Springer's playing like he is, he's 25, not 35. And there's just a lot of things going on well with Toronto. And so after this, it doesn't get any easier. I mean, the schedule does, granted, on the surface, does get easier. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just they're going to struggle against the Pirates like this. I mean, minus Paul Skeens aside.
Right.
It's just.
And you just never know. Like, the Tigers were not the team you want to, the Tigers' record sucked, but you didn't want to play the Tigers in the second half in 21 or 22 because they were annoying. They'd hold you to 2 or 3, 4 runs and then, and be right there with you the whole game, wearing you out. So, I mean, it's hard to predict. Football, football is so much more consistent. The better team wins in football, most of the time. And you can usually project that out. The team with the best quarterback is probably going to win. But, baseball, it's just a lot wilder and woollier. It's like a mammoth, like a prehistoric elephant of some sort.
Segue.
That was across the land. Yes, sorry.
That was a very good segue, Brandon. And that leads us to they struggle against Chesapeake, and Chesapeake has decent relievers too. But there was also, like I said, there's some really battled or some kind of questionable play, whether it was base running or not. Was it a base running thing Friday, Chris? Is that the best way we can explain it?
There were 3 kind of base running issues over the course of that the first 2 games. The one, Clark had that. At one point, Briseño got picked off at first base with a man on second. It was like, what the hell happened there?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The big one that kind of ruined the rally in the 9th the other day was Clark had ripped a double into the gap. There were men on first, and nobody scored. We don't like Malgeri had to hold up, I guess, to make sure the guy didn't catch it, but then he didn't. In my head, I think maybe he saw Graham giving the stop sign to Mendoza, who I think was on second.
That could be. But they're both so fast to not score on that hit. Was so odd, and Clark obviously just got a head of steam.
Yeah, and people were yelling at Max Clark to pay attention. It's like, come on now, that's a double. We 99.9% of the time, though, as Raj said, the only time that's not a double is when somebody makes like a spectacular diving catch.
Yeah. In the big league, someone else was getting yelled at, not Max Clark there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why didn't you score?
And that's, that was a bummer. And they ended up scoring some more there later. And there was a weird, Max Anderson hit a home run that was not counted as a home run for some reason, but then they ended up scoring 2 runs on an error, a Briseño ground ball to second base. But yeah, there were it was not terribly clean. I think there was a lot of energy in that stadium, right? Like, I don't know. They play on Sunday when all that had died down. They played a nice, clean game, and then they got a bunch of hits and scored and won with a shutout. It was just, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, and I think maybe the players were feeling a little bit, maybe pressing a little bit. We saw McGonigal on Friday night hit, I think his first 3 at-bats were all kind of soft, rollover grounders to second base, and he made an error at shortstop, and you're like, oh boy. And then when it was crunch time at the end of the game, he hits a double to left field off the wall. We're like, oh, that's McGonigal. Next day, 2 singles and a double late to bring the tying run up to the plate or the go-ahead run up to the plate. And then yesterday, another double. He's good. You see that. 5 for 11, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a steal. Suddenly it's Kevin McGonigal again. So it didn't take long.
It was funny, too, because Saturday, I was like, okay, watch him go. He hit a nice double in the right center gap. First pitch.
Oh, yeah, Raj called it.
Called it right on camera, and it was just one of those things where it was. But you could tell. I mean, it's just his approach to the plate. He was very. It's just, again, I'm not worried. Like, it wasn't Friday. Like, all right, well, he had a bad day. And congratulations, by the way. He made the number 1 baseball prospectus, number 1 top prospect. And that's really hard to do. Like, somebody was talking about, well, it was Riley Green and MLB Pipeline. MLB Pipeline, to say, of the 3 major publications, MLB Pipeline is gotten better. But if you make a baseball prospectus, well, okay.
That was the nicest way to put that. That was beautiful.
And furthermore, to that point, as it were, like I'm writing a college essay here.
Working their asses off on it.
Yeah, well, the baseball prospectus one was like an official mid-season re-rank.
Yeah.
When Riley Green became the number 1 prospect, it was because several other people graded.
Yeah.
Right in front of him. So.
Yeah.
It like, not that he wasn't a great prospect, right? But this is the only time I can remember this happening, where it's like an official re-rank. This is our new ranking, and he's the number 1 prospect. So yeah, that was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And he looks good. all those guys, Clark. You see, Briseño's numbers weren't great. We think he's gonna figure it. He seems to kind of like he was feeling everything out. Like it's really long plate appearance for the most part. Just kind of figuring out which pitches to attack.
That foul ball he had on Saturday, Chris, oh my God.
He fouled off a ball and hit it onto the roof of the stadium to left field. It was like a 400-foot foul ball. You're like, oh, good Lord. So he's going to pick it up. He's going to be just fine. And Clark, as we said, Clark looks pretty damn good. He crushed that home run the other night. It was a beautiful swing, another one where he just kind of leaned in and lofted the ball to right field. He had that nice double to the gap, like we talked about, that kind of got it was only listed as a single because of the nonsense. And they had a triple yesterday, hitting the ball in the air, hitting it hard to the gaps. That's all you want from him because everything else is there. He stole a base. McGonigal stole a base. So really fun adding those guys to the lineup. And Lorenzo is just as patient and annoying in the box as ever. He didn't hit anything terribly hard. Well, he did get a double. In the first game. That was their first run. And that was, you see, Max Clark had, 5 runs scored? He was kind of a part of all the big offensive outbreaks. Either he was hitting guys in or he was getting on base and scoring from first. That offense, they're 10-10 in the second half. They're going to get clicking here soon and going to start rolling over people.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a matter of time. And
I'll be right back. I got to take a quick break.
Okay. Yeah. So no, it's one of those things too where I look at it as it's just a matter of timing.
Here's a good question from Kevin. Yeah. He said, "Did you see Kenny Serwo pitch? Is he making adjustments?" We did see him pitch, and you think you put down or right down there. You see he battled. He had a really long first inning, and part of it wasn't his fault. McGonigal made that error. There was there was a fielder's choice that something went wrong. He was really having a hard time keeping the knuckleball up. You don't want it up high, right? That's when it gets launched. But it just kept dropping below the zone, and he didn't. I want to say he gave up maybe 3 hard hit balls the entire game, his entire outing. Just kind of some weak contact and ran into some issues. But after that first inning, he was pretty much lights out. Like, kind getting easy outs, soft contact, a handful of strikeouts. I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so too. And there was one thing too that his fastball played up really well with his knuckleball. He was able to spot it on both sides of the plate, and you could tell when the knuckleball wasn't going to work. But he, especially against a team like Bowie, who was swinging early in the counts too. They were doing that all series. They felt like Bowie had a certain approach at the plate the entire series. And I don't know, Bowie's batting average was kind of misleading because they were making some really hard contact all series.
Yeah, the one dude hit a giant home run. What's his name? I was going to say like Taron Egerton, but I think that's an actor. I don't remember his name, but he crushed a home run on the left. But yeah, you look at the batting averages of all the Bowie players or Chesapeake. Why would you change the first name, the city name? Anyway, they're all hitting like 230 or below. But Creed Willems was putting up good at bats and seems like a good dude. Based on he was doing some stuff for your family who happened to be there. I don't know. It was a kind of an annoying series. You look out for that Erie should be much better than Chesapeake, but that's why they play the games.
And not to mention, Garrett Burhan won his 10th game yesterday. So I know wins, losses, and all that, but Burhan has looked better, and he's a guy who I think that could have some reliever. Again, there's a reliever possibility. It's also he's gonna be the next guy to go up to Toledo. It's just a matter of time. I think within the next month it goes to Toledo.
Yeah. So Kevin, I think Surwa topped out at 91. It was mostly 90, 91 with the fastball, and he only threw it. He probably threw it 10 times, maybe 12. It was mostly his knuckleball was going. He had knuckleball at like 77 to 79, and then his other harder knuckleball was like 83, 84. And the TrackMan or Hawkeye had them as curveballs and sliders because it didn't really know what to do with them. So it was interesting watching him pitch. I haven't seen knuckle that often in my life.
Yeah. By the way, I was not getting I had to refresh my screen, and for whatever reason, I wasn't getting any of those questions just now. Now all those flooding in there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks.
It happens. Yeah, I've seen myself as off loss the entire time, but whatever.
Oh, really? You do?
On my screen, but I can see myself down at the bottom.
Really weird. Okay.
Chris was a little blurred a little bit.
Yeah,
I think you're all good. I feel blurry though.
So, by the way, there was a.
You look oddly short all of a sudden, Brandon.
I'm leaning way back now.
Gotcha.
My back is not feeling great after all the kayaking.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Matt Wood said rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. That's
Theo.
Yeah, Theo. Theo Huxtable. He's also in Homeboys in Outer Space, I think, too.
Oh God,
that's messed up.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
he
that's a bummer. Yeah,
I like that's a real bummer. Yeah,
he's in a great Key and Peele skit.
Just get sucked out, man.
He was in a Key and Peele skit.
Yeah, it's kind of political, but so I don't want to necessarily talk about it. But it was funny.
Yeah, that sucks. By the way, Steve's like, I stopped watching Whitecaps when the Big Three got promoted. Oh, come on, man. The Whitecaps are good. Whitecaps are really fun to watch.
Do you have the slide up or no? You
yeah, I'm about to have the slide up right now. Yeah,
they're still
kicking ass. A lot of
that
ass.
Behind.
Yeah, they've been raking.
Look at their record.
They won 60 games before the Tigers did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
The lug
look at that.
It's well.
Look at this offense. Like they're okay. We asked Max Clark what is with Lansing. He said he doesn't know either. That Lansing's just this really. What is with that stadium that they just the Whitecaps go ham on? I don't know. Like, is it to me? It's one of my favorite stadiums in the minor leagues and all of baseball. I love the way it sits in downtown Lansing. It's a really cool spot in downtown Lansing. You have the two Cuban restaurants right there. They have really, really interesting part of Lansing right there. But they just, whatever, 13 runs on Saturday?
Yep, I had 15, I think.
Yeah, 15.
15, 5, and 6 they scored in those 3 games.
Like 19 hits in that game. I'm not sure if there are any extra base hits either.
Yeah, well, the one I think I think Pacheco hit a homer that game and Peck did too. Maybe Brookman, but they were, they hit the stuffing out of the ball and they pitched pretty well too. We talked about their bullpen a bunch, but Sears had a really solid outing, and Alba, I think, we had Alba on our prospect list last year. At the very end, is like an interesting reliever, but they're trying to get him back to starting. It seems like,
Yeah.
and he's throwing a little bit harder than he has before, and he does have he really spins the ball. So I don't know if there's a prospect there, but it's like they're trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a guy who's been, as far as like the experimentation of the rotation, what have you, trying to figure out what his role is long term wise. The West Michigan Ripples now.
Instead of the Whitecaps, they're the nice. Concentric circles. No, they're still a fun team to watch.
Yeah, I'll admit those teams. I'm not watching them quite as much either.
Well, I mean that's the thing.
That's how it goes. Like I am following the prospects more than I'm watching like every game from either side. So if I'm picking, I'm watching the SeaWolves. I'll confess.
Yeah, if they're playing at the same time, you're watching the prospects, the top prospects. And that's again, it's an unfortunate thing where Bryce Rayner getting hurt, kind of robbed the Whitecaps of a pretty awesome, interesting player coming up in the second half. Not that like Woody and Garrett Pennington aren't doing their thing right now, but Rayner would have been a different animal for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Pennington has been fun to watch, though. That's for sure. I don't know what they have there necessarily, but man, he's got some pop.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of those guys where, as we talk about, like we got to wait till Double-A, because he's been older than the competition, and he's got a wild swing. By wild, I mean like it's not like he swings at everything, but it's like a big leg kick, and he really sells out for power, and he hits the ball really hard. But you do wonder, once he starts facing some more advanced breaking balls, if he's still going to be able to do that. But for now, hitting the snot out of the ball, so that's fun.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd love to see more of at some point too. It was funny. John Verberg was like, "When those West Michigan arms going to Erie?"
Well,
Yeah.
I don't
know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So Lakeland continues to Lakeland is just going strong. Kind of banged up that way. Go ahead, Chris.
No, it's ridiculous. Like I was looking, like, wait a minute, 18-4. Because I remember they lost the first 2 games of the second half.
Yeah.
So they've gone 18-2 in the last 20 games.
And remember, this is the team that won, I think, 12 in a row last year at the same time. Like they won, they had a winning streak last year.
Yeah.
Remember they won 15 in a row or so. Like they won something ridiculous last year. I remember that.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is when you look at them, like based on stats, like team stats in the league, it's like this doesn't make any sense. They're like 9th in offense, and I don't know. They're winning.
Yeah. They're like one of those teams that has their A and B squad in the bullpen or something, and when the bats are going well, the right guys are pitching. It's just all kind of coming up.
And you see Jackson Strong had a monster series, right? 7 for 11. We talked about him
a little bit.
Talked a little bit about that, and I was just about to go look. I'm going to look at his stats real quick because, and I think Joe has talked about it, and maybe even Jerry on the site. It's, this is their 4th round pick from a couple of years ago. Interesting high school bat that was hurt for basically 2 full seasons, and so he hadn't seen much, and he got off to a really, really rough start. And if you still look at the baseball card stats right now, they don't look great, right? It's 228 average, 1 home run. For a supposed power hitting third baseman, that's not going to get the job done. But like we said, it was really rough to start the year, and I'm looking right now since June 1st. Let's look at those numbers. Since June 1st. No, not June 1st to June 1st. All right. So here we go. 31 games since June 1st. He's hitting 294.
Okay. Yeah.
There's still, the power still isn't really there. 294, 346, 345. So hardly any power. But you know what? It's baby steps here, right? He's not striking out as much. He's putting the ball in play. He's getting hits. It's a good sign.
Shoulder injury.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign. He's a guy that we figured was probably going to be 2 years in Lakeland no matter what. Even if he were, hitting really well, they're going to bump him up to West Michigan. So just it's nice to see a little bit of positive development there. So just keep an eye on that. So it's good to see. And, Zach McDonald is kind of the next – he's kind of like the Hayden replacement.
Yeah.
Was another one of their college outfielders they took last year who was out for a long time, I think, with concussion protocol. I think that was what it And he's got some tools, so he's coming in and playing and doing some things. A little older, like give it time there, but that's going to help the team. And again, it was only 3 games, so we didn't get to see the full pitching staff. But Josh Randall continues to throw too many strikes. It's a weird thing. He every time I'm looking, he's giving up a ton of hits. But I don't know. The arm is still good, so we'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah, they have him. Baseball America has a number 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of liked him when they drafted him, but I didn't have him very high. But yeah, I mean, he just sort of hasn't popped yet. It hasn't done a whole lot to change him. Good for sure.
Yeah, I do want to ask if we end up getting Garco on about the short starts in Lakeland. Why they're doing that? They're kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, congratulations, by the way. The Dominican All-Star League was going on here, and they had 3 All-Stars? Chris, is that correct?
Yeah, Chris Rodriguez, Santiago Pinto, and I think Carlos Rodriguez were all made the DSL All-Star team. But as we were pointing out, there are 39 players on each team, so it's a big All-Star game. I don't know if they, a lot of guys didn't. And I looked, and I think Pinto got on base, but
yeah, the FCL Tigers have a chance to go back-to-back to the postseason. They won last year. Have a chance to repeat as their magic number is 1. They can clinch tomorrow.
Yeah, they had an extra inning win over the team right behind them today, so that was pretty big for them. So they have 4 teams in the playoffs, right?
And then Salcedo was one of those guys that came in ranked on the FCL list, correct?
Yeah, Baseball America did a list of the top 25 players in the Florida Complex League, and Salcedo was on there. Kelvin Salcedo. We've talked about him a little bit. We've watched a little video of him. It's a big power arm, probably a reliever, but interesting stuff for sure. Yeah, and so that was fun to see. And we didn't get any TV games this week from the FCL. And the DSL kind of, their one big game was against each other.
Yeah.
Which was fun, though, because it was Coba versus Anderson Diaz. And Anderson Diaz was their big pitching signing in this most recent international signing class, and we put that start up because he's got a goofy curveball, man. It's 69 to 73, and it just falls out of the sky, and these poor 17, 18-year-old hitters have no idea how to hit it.
Yeah.
But
there was sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Nothing. No, there's not a ton to talk about here.
Callahan's on the comeback trail. There you go.
Yeah, that's good to see. Getting some action, and and we've seen, some of the guys down there have their ups and downs. They have good weeks. Anibal Salas had a good week. Enrique Jimenez did some damage. Jude Warwick is just kind of an on-base machine right now, and other than that, it's we'll keep an eye on it. And they're, like I said, they're going to go to the playoffs, and so I think the playoffs there start in 10 days. So we probably won't see any draft picks on the FCL squads.
Yeah,
but
that's what sucks about that.
Yeah, I mean it's annoying that they moved it up like that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But we will see. I think a few of these guys. I would imagine Enrique Jimenez and probably Jude Warwick will, and maybe Salcedo and Wilberth Mendez get moved up once some of the once the FCL season ends. But that's a couple weeks away.
All right, so that is the slides for this week. I will be sharing those on our Discord. I know last week, like I said, I didn't get a chance to, or not Discord, I'm sorry, on our Patreon, the ones we didn't do last week, but we ended up flooding we got a mailbag and we got some extra content out there instead. So, but the slides will be shared for paid Patreon members. You can tell I have a long day because I just keep, I'm just mouth, yeah.
Our energy level is maybe not the highest, and I think the Tigers, kind of feeling the same way right now.
It's
dog days.
It's dog days. It is like we're heading towards the dog days of summer right now, and So next week, by the way, will be a more likely the trade deadline episode. So definitely we'll be going into the possibility the Tigers might have made a trade by then. Who knows if that's the case? I mean,
someone we mentioned today may be gone.
Yeah, exactly. Who will it be? Will it be Max Anderson? Will it be? Yeah. Will it be a middle reliever in West Michigan? Yes. I'm gonna but our top. So we're gonna be doing, like I said, a quarter century teams. Like I said, I just got to do the sorting out of the logistics for it and drop that probably the next couple days or so. And we want to. We have a lot of fans who will probably have some say about a certain player in Erie they remember fondly. Maybe you remember the memorable season Nate Cornejo had in 2000. I think. I don't know. 2 minutes before the deadline, more likely. Yeah, Deadly Ninja Beast.
Well,
That might be the case, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's, you know what though, like if I feel like if you're buying, it behooves you to go out and buy as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah.
Like
I think so too. Don't wait around.
But who knows? See?
Because I mean, it can just work both ways. Like you saw, Itak Paredes goes down with what might be kind of a major hamstring strain the other day, and now if you're looking for a third baseman, there might be more competition than there was otherwise. Mm-hmm. Probably he's fine. I don't think the Astros are necessarily going to go out and do anything crazy either. But yeah, I don't know. There's like that balance between you want to wait as long as possible to see if what your guys can do and who gets it together, and if you have another injury that you need to resolve. But at the same time, you don't want to be left holding the bag like the last day, like finally having to like overpay or just end up, coming home with, whoever, just another decent arm that you think you can fix. Those projects are all well and good, and that should just be an ongoing thing. But yeah, they'll get somebody good.
Yeah, I mean, it is good to see that they nailed down Carlos Hernandez's problems with his split finger, and he's throwing his split finger better. Mm-hmm. But there's much more problems, and they have to elaborate more.
Just in time to leave.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he seems like the most likely victim of Troy Melton being added to the 40-man and 26-man roster. To me,
yeah. In Crazy Clown's correct.
There's so many guys in the 40 you could let go. But I know what you're saying. Like, who are you going to cut from the pitching staff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Charles makes a good point here. There's only 3 games on July 31st.
Oh, interesting.
So it's gonna be one of those trade deadlines where you're literally gonna be refreshing Twitter. Not that you would always refresh Twitter 1,000 times anyways, but maybe 10,000 times. Who knows? Yeah. Real quick, Nick. This is the last question for the evening. I know his numbers are great still, but any concern with the clip Riley Green is punching out lately? No, I'm not concerned because I think he's also. Well, I mean,
I would prefer that he's not doing that. But
right.
I'm not concerned that it's going to like completely keep circling around the toilet and he's going to turn into like a hitter or something like that. He's gonna turn around and he'll be fine.
If he was focusing on not striking out, he wouldn't be striking out. But that's not what's on Riley Green's mind right now. It's all about mashing. So, and that's fine. The Tigers have lots of guys. I mean, Riley's still getting on base. That's not even really the issue either. So, yeah, I wouldn't sweat that. Riley Green is literally the least of your problems offensively. So.
Yeah.
And just the PSA for trade season. Double check before retweet that weird trade thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
Or send it to your friends because
check the handle and make sure it actually matches up and doesn't have some weird character added in there.
Yeah, look for the number of followers and so forth.
Yeah, not to mention it's not important to be first. It's important that you're right.
Yeah.
There's this thing where everybody's just like, no, it's important to be right.
Or important, or some people want to be first and do it, and that's fine. It's hard.
Yeah.
I would rather try to analyze it afterward and see how it's going to work. Whatever.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, if you're gonna have, it's cool to be first, but no one's gonna remember that if then you have to follow up and apologize for getting it wrong.
Yeah, be right first, because the apology will drag on, and everyone will remember you for that way more than any pull that you got 2 seconds on Jeff Passan. So
yeah, Bob Nightingale.
But if you can beat Jeff Passan, I'm all in favor of it. That monster.
Yep. Some of the interviews he was doing in the All-Star break, by the way, were hilarious.
He's really gotten loose the last few years, for sure.
Yeah, he was calling out John Boy Media left and right. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I only say that because some of the things are like, he's just looking at him like, what the hell are you doing here, guys? And just it was amount of like calling out, or like the one where the guy stepped in his shot. He goes, hey, come here. He's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, telling him, I'm sorry. You were stepping my shot. And he's like, tell your boss he sucks or something like that. I was just like, damn, like assassin, man. Like I feel like Jeff Passan is one of those guys that could be in a roast. I think
Yeah, yeah.
Jeff Passan can be a really good roast comic. I just see him just like
Yeah,
tearing
put him
somebody
up there
apart.
with Anthony Jeselnik and Nikki Glazer and stuff. Yeah, well, yeah, he was roasting. He and Brett Rooker were fighting, like for fun. Yeah, there's just kind of a loose vibe from Passan these days that didn't used to exist.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I like when he can be that way because we need more people like that. We need more people like Jeff Passan. Everybody, baseball writers have this tendency to be like dry and stiff and all that. I want personality. I like personality, and I think that's a good thing to have. Like especially with our
Or to just pretend nobody else exists. Like the standard posture of every sports writer is just like none of these other sites, none of these other newspapers exist. Like I live in this one world where I am the sole cover of the subject. Yeah, yeah. Like
there's some
crossover, baby. We need some
yeah.
matchups.
There's some TV reporters in town that are like that. I hate to say that. I hate to say that, but there's sometimes where it's like, you tag people when you want to, but then you don't acknowledge them any other way. Like they have all the
retweet my stuff, but I'll never mention that you ever did anything.
Exactly. Or and you're beneath because you're on television. That shit pisses me off. And that kind of gatekeeping crap. I can go on and on about that. And there's names out there, but I'm not going to. It's just because it makes me sound like I'm bitter. I'm not. I'm not bitter.
There's a lot of lame stuff in this industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of lame stuff. But like, I want people like if I meet, for example, I've met a lot of people off Twitter and off this website or just from the podcast. We had a couple people that randomly who I didn't know say, "Hey, Tigers Miami Report in Erie all weekend."
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge everybody that says hi to us and just go, "Hey, thank you." I never want to. The day that I get too big to say hi to somebody or something, kick me in the balls, please. Go for it. Go ahead. I don't want to be Chris. Go ahead, kick me right in the balls.
Don't do it. On it. Don't do it, Chris. Just smack him. Smack
me. Okay, fine. Smack me. Don't. Maybe not. That's
let's not get crazy.
No, but my point is, always just remember where you are and just be there's no reason to be pretentious about this shit when it's just a game of baseball. That's all it is. That's all I'm saying. Like I hate like there's just some people I've met in television too. And I'm just like, I'm not kissing your ass. Why should I have to kiss your ring? It's like, dude, we're just here. Right. That's all.
And people forget like you're not the show. We're all covering 20, 30-year-old men hitting a ball with a stick. Like that's the show. You aren't important. Yeah. We could train someone up to do any of these jobs pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So don't get cocky.
And the immortal words of Ilya Bryzgalov. It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Sarah Castillo for the top rope.
Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. Keep it close, everybody. We'll talk to you next week and later in the week for Motor City Metrics. And for myself, Brandon, and Chris, have a good evening.
Thanks, guys.